excited about the turnout. I hope that you find this topic as exciting as I do. My name is Lynn Hermensky. I'm a Provider Relations Manager with Hospice of the Western Reserve, and I know many of you in the audience today, and for those who I don't know, I'm a Provider Relations Manager, and I've been working with Hospice of the Western Reserve now for 6 years and have learned so very much. My career's always been in healthcare, but I'm really enjoying hospice, and we've been doing what we do for over 40 years now, not-for-profit, community-based, and I know there's a lot of our volunteers that have joined us today, and I want to thank them for everything that they do for the agency, because really we're supporting people at the time they need most, which is end of life. And so offering hospice care, palliative care, and bereavement support, especially during COVID. A lot of times, a lot of cases that we've heard the last couple months, people haven't had the support they need because we've had to quarantine. So we're really reaching out to folks and make sure they're supported at this time. So when we do our talks, our community education, which I love doing, I know some of you have heard me before, you don't want to go out and talk to a group of people about death and dying because nobody will come. So if that was our topic today, we wouldn't have 40 some people on. And one of the things I learned is most of our successful deaths, and what I mean by successful deaths are people that say they're ready to go. They've seen everything they want to see, done everything they want to do, said everything that they want to say. They feel like they've lived a complete life at any age. We take care of all ages. And I've heard young and old say, I'm ready. So that's what my challenge to ask you all today, have you done everything that you want to do? And if not, get your pen and paper because we're going to do it today. We're going to start our list today. So those of you, I know a couple people said, you have your list ready. If you have it, put it out. We're going to maybe add to it. We're going to maybe cross some things off and give you guys some ideas of what you can do. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Now, has everybody heard of a bucket list before? Because some people have actually told me that they've never heard of it. And there we go. It's actually in the dictionary. So it's a real thing. And it's a noun, and it's a number of experiences or achievements that a person hopes to have or accomplish during their lifetime. So it's actually a real thing. They might say making this trip is the first thing on my bucket list. And you can see the background that I picked today. I'm trying to give you all a bucket list feel. There was also a movie called The Bucket List. Has everybody seen the movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson? If you haven't seen that, that's a good movie. It's two gentlemen that are diagnosed with different illnesses, and they decide, hey, these are some things that I want to do before I die. So it's a real thing. Why do people do it? We create a bucket list to fulfill a goal, experience life, maybe overcome a fear, something you've always been afraid of doing. I like to use the example of swimming. So some people are afraid of water. So maybe you want to learn how to swim sometime in your lifetime. They do it to relieve stress and to feel accomplished. And your bucket list is going to change as you do. So I encourage all of you to start your bucket list today. And for those of you who are volunteering or working with other people, help somebody else create a bucket list as well. Let's look at this quote for a second. Every man dies, not every man really lives. So think about that. Every man dies. Sorry, spoiler alert from the hospice girl. Not every man really lives. So we all know people that don't leave their house, they don't travel, they don't follow their dreams, they just don't experience things. And that's okay. Some people, that's just how they want to live their life. We all know people that just don't want to do things. Are you truly living your life, your best life? So there's 6 steps to how to create a bucket list. And I'm going to go through these a little quickly because usually I take an hour to do this talk because there's a lot of feedback, which I love because I do want to hear what you guys have on your bucket list. So how to create it. First of all, explore your mind and write it all down. What have you always wanted to do? What new skills do you still want to learn? What experiences do you want to feel? And I want you to get in touch with your values, and I want you to offer a great variety. And we're going to give you some ideas today. Number 2, expand from travel. Most people think that a bucket list is strictly places to go, places to see, and that's not true. And now with, the pandemic and quarantining, we got to kind of cut our travel down. So think of other things that you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's a hobby, something you've always, wanted to get involved with. Maybe you want to get your finances in order, and we have people in this group that can help you with that. Maybe you want to do a switch in career. You're learning that what you're doing is not making you happy. It's not fulfilling you. Maybe you want to make a switch. Different activities. Maybe you want to learn how to paint, or you want to learn how to cook or bake or anything, any sort of activities. And education. Now there's so many opportunities for online education. It's fascinating. And did you know that a lot of the universities will offer free college classes to senior citizens? So it's really kind of a great thing. And you don't have to take the test, which is even better. Number 3, set a goal and make a plan. How are you going to achieve these things that you want to do? Is money going to play a factor? So a lot of times we have this idea that we want to do, but we have to budget for it. So we have to put money away, but it's going to go towards your bucket list item. And look at your time frame. Include now and later. What do you want to do by the end of this terrible 2020 year is over? Or what do you want to do by the time you are 60 years old, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old? Set goals for yourself like that, and it'll help you to do some of these things. And don't wait for retirement. A lot of people say, when I retire, but I would say start doing some of these things now. Share your list with others. This is my favorite piece of advice, because one great source of motivation is inspiration. So if there's something that you want to do and something that your friend wants to do, you kind of will hold each other accountable. The other thing is maybe something that one of your friends wants to do, you think, you know what, I would do that too. And they kind of inspire you to do something. So if I want to jump out of a plane and Yolanda says she also wants to jump out of a plane, there's probably a better probability that that will happen, because we'll hold each other accountable, plan together. So ask around what other people want to do, and you might want to do it with them. And no, Yolanda, we don't have to jump out of a plane unless you want to. Number 5, sleep on it and change goals as needed. So a bucket list should never be set in stone. You're going to make changes. There's things that you wanted to do in your 20s that you wouldn't dream of doing now. There's things that you can do now that you maybe didn't have the money or the time for before. So your list is going to change. So write it down in pencil. And number 6, and most important, have fun. Creating this list should not overwhelm you. It's not a chore. It shouldn't stress you out. If you don't have one, that's fine. But it is something fun. And especially with the work that I do with people at end of life, I think it's just really important to start thinking about now. If you need help with coming up with your list, if you go to bucketlist.net or bucketlist.org, there are 10,000 ideas of what you can do for a bucket list. 10,000. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through all 10,000 now. Let's see what time it is. Just kidding. I picked out my favorites. Okay, and as we go through this, what I'm going to do, I think you can see people off to the side. If you click on your screen, there's like a little, you could raise your hand or do a thumbs up. So as we go through these, if you want to do a little thumbs up, if you've done these things, feel free. So we're going to start with travel just because it's the biggest, and then we'll go a little more different. But go to Disney World. A lot of people say, what do you want to do now? And people say, I want to go to Disney World. And actually Disney, I hear, is open right now. But that's a big thing on people's bucket list. It is a full-time job and not very relaxing, but it is a fun thing to do. Visit all 50 states. A lot of people have this on their bucket list, and I go to a lot of senior centers and present on this. And I have actually met quite a few people who've raised their hands when I go through these, and they've said they've been able to visit all 50 states. I think I've been to like 7 states, so I've got a ways to go on that one. Travel on an African safari is things some people have said they want to do. Kiss the Blarney Stone. I don't know that you could kiss the Blarney Stone today, but don't kiss any stones. But anyway, in the past or hopefully in the future. Some want to travel Route 66, dip their toes in all 5 oceans, visit all 7 continents. I have met some people that have been on all 7 continents. Explore the Grand Canyon. This is on my bucket list. Learn a new language. Start your own business. These are the true dream followers, the people that say, I want to own my own business. I want to run my own business. Big bucket list. This is a good one. Ride the biggest roller coaster and raise your hands. Do you know that we are about an hour and a half away from, hour and a half away from the roller coaster capital of the world, which is awesome. We have the tallest, fastest, longest, windiest, nauseating roller coaster. So that's a bucket list thing right now. If you could go there, ride one of these rides, put your hands up. If you no longer want to do that, take a kid this summer or next summer and do that. The park is actually 150 years old this year. Visit a museum. Again, we're surrounded by wonderful museums, especially in the state of Ohio. We have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Art Museum, the History Museum. I see some thumbs ups. We have the Maps Museum, the First Ladies Museum. I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but we have wonderful, wonderful museums in our area. Put those on your bucket list. Go to a concert, not this year, but go to that concert that you've been wanting to go to. See a Broadway play. And I tell people, our theater district in Cleveland is, I think, the 2nd largest, and I actually prefer it over Broadway. It's really a beautiful theater district. So when we're able to go back to the theater, definitely get tickets to something. Zip line, you can do this around town now. Eat in a food challenge. Has anybody done that? Any thumbs up on that one? This is on people's bucket lists. It's not on my bucket list, but you see the hot dog eating contest, the pie eating contests. I don't see any thumbs up on this one, but to some people. Learn sign language. This is actually on my bucket list, to be able to communicate with people that are hard of hearing or can't hear at all. Ride an elephant. Go on a ghost hunt. We actually have some really cool like ghost tours around town. I know we took the kids to the Mansfield Penitentiary, and that was like a cool visit. Skydive. Does anybody remember what George Bush did on his 90th birthday? He jumped out of an airplane. Who wants to do that? Do I have any thumbs up on that? I'm scrolling through you all. Attend a Super Bowl or World Series games. Can't do that this year, but I know a lot of people who have done this in the past, and they said it was a really good experience. Meet someone famous. At this point, usually I ask who people have met. So if you've met someone famous, type their name in the chat, and we'll go through at the end and we'll see who people have met that are famous. Sometimes people even talk about eating caviar, calamari, escargot, sushi, alligator, chocolate-covered ants. How about the worm in the tequila bottle? Not really a bucket list for me, but some people are like, okay, I got to experience that in my lifetime. Go on TV or radio. This is always a fun thing. Watch a space shuttle launch. Hopefully you all got to do this just about a month or so ago. Parasail. Uh-oh. Look at this last one down here. Well, I'm still working on that one. Achieve your ideal weight. Publish a book. I tell you, I do this presentation, like I said, to all ages, but to even senior citizens, I say it's never too late to publish a book. What do you want to write about? What do you want to You know, it could be children's books, self-help books, books about your life, whatever you want. Run a marathon or 5K. To those of you who have done this, I give you so much credit. I only run usually on Black Friday or if I'm being chased. So I can't do that, but I give you a lot of credit. Bungee jump, scuba dive. I worked with a nurse for years and she retired from nursing and she became certified in scuba diving and she travels the world now. It's a really great thing for her. Learn golf or another sport. My dad learned to play golf at age 70. Again, you can learn a new sport at any time and golf's a great sport. Ride in the soapbox derby. I was actually able to go down that hill last summer, which was fun. Horseback riding. Attend the Olympics. Learn a strategy game. Good for your mind. Before working in hospice care, I actually worked with people with Alzheimer's and dementia. And you should always be challenging your mind, learning something new, doing something different. So I encourage you. Is it a bucket list item? I think it is. Always learning something new, and it's great for your brain. Perform in community theater or a recital. Ride in a hot air balloon. This is on my bucket list, so if anybody wants to do this with me, give me a call. Swim with a dolphin. Now we're going to talk about simpler things. So a lot of those things that I talked about are expensive. You have to save money. It takes a lot of time. But there's some simple things that we found that people have put on their bucket lists. Has everybody watched a sunrise and a sunset? I see sunsets all the time because I stay up, you know, into the evening. I don't see a lot of sunrises. So I made it a point on a trip that I was at to set my alarm clock and get up and just watch some beautiful sunrises. So make sure that you see that. Visit a drive-in movie theater. I'm looking for the thumbs up now. Has everybody in your lifetime got to go to a drive-in movie theater? I really hope you have. Okay, good. I see a lot of thumbs up. The drive-in movie theaters are getting a lot of traffic this year, and they've really thought outside the box too. They're doing, high school graduations there and all kinds of neat things. So visit your local drive-in movie theater because we have one, at least where I live in Macedonia, I have one in 30 minutes in each direction, really. And it's just a fun thing to do. Take someone who's never gone before. Go berry picking or grow a garden. What a feel-good thing when you can eat the fruits of your labor. Make a snow angel. So this winter, if you've never made a snow angel, please go out in your front yard and do it. Come to my house, I'll do it with you, or teach a child how to do it. It's just a fun thing. Connect with a past teacher or friend. This is important. When dealing with people at end of life, there's a lot of regrets of, I wish I would have reached out or wish I would have talked to someone. Pick up the phone, write a letter, call somebody, just tell them you were thinking about them. Don't wait on things like that. Connect with people that you want to connect with. Go fishing or take someone fishing. Make a scrapbook or a family tree. This is important. All those pictures that you guys have in bins under your bed, in your closet, take these pictures and put them in a scrapbook. Tell a story. Journal, write about who the people are. Fill out your family tree. It's such a great gift for future generations. And what else do we have going on now, right? So put together some scrapbooks and some gifts for future generations to enjoy. Plant a tree, something that will be around much longer than we will. Learn ballroom dancing or yoga. Write your will or your advance directives. This is the healthcare professional. This is the healthcare professional in me saying, don't put off on this. We deal with a lot of families that don't have these things in order, and it gets messy at end of life or when things happen. I know there's resources just within this group that can help you do that. Something you want to get done, and it's a huge weight off your shoulder, and I say put it on your bucket list. Take a cooking or art class. You can do this online as well. Volunteer, again, a shout out to all our volunteers. We couldn't do what we do without you. So important. So volunteer in a classroom, volunteer reading, volunteer at, you know, at a pet, you know, anywhere, you know, but if you have time, volunteer. It feels so good. I'm doing, Yolanda and I just talked about this, I'm delivering Meals on Wheels during the pandemic because I do have some extra time, and that's just a great thing. Checking in with seniors. I volunteer for a Prom to Remember, which is a prom for kids with cancer. I really love my volunteer time. Okay, stargaze, a meteor shower, or lunar eclipse. If the meteorologist says this is what's happening tonight, go outside and enjoy it. I think a lot of us have been doing this during our quarantine. Do a 1,000-piece puzzle and frame it. Has anybody done a 1,000-piece? I think before 2020, my biggest was a 25-piece, and I think it was maybe SpongeBob SquarePants. We actually did a 500-piece puzzle, and it was, I really enjoyed it. So go get some puzzles or borrow some puzzles, and it's a huge accomplishment. Learn how to swim if you haven't already. Boat on a Great Lake. We're surrounded. Fly a kite, drive an exotic car. Donate blood. This is something that I have been consistently trying to keep up with. And if you donate blood now, they will do a free antibody test for COVID. So that's just another perk for donating blood. Not only are you helping people and saving people, but you can also find out if you've been exposed to the virus. Become a volunteer guardian. There are a lot of people out there that have nobody. They have no family, no friends, nobody that's looking out for them. So if you're interested in this, you can contact the county that you reside in, and you can be someone's person. I do this for a gentleman in Summit County, and it's just as rewarding, maybe even more rewarding for me than it is for him. And I just visit him once a month, call him on the phone, send him cards. It's really it's a great thing. Go on an honor flight. So I don't know that this program's probably not happening right now, but when it starts up again, this is taking our World War II veterans to see the memorials in Washington. This is definitely on my bucket list, is to be a volunteer to accompany a veteran to see the memorials. Visit the Christmas Story House. Again, it's right in our area. Look at this last one. I had to add this because when I used to do this presentation, I would have people write down on little pieces of paper what they wanted to do. I would put it in a bucket, and then I would pull them out one by one. And about 5 different seniors put this: learn to use a cell phone. So I added it to the presentation. If you need help with a cell phone, I would say ask like a 10-year-old. All right, let me go real quick to, I see a lot of chat, so I want to make sure before we move on, we're almost done. Oh my goodness. Okay, so some people met Tony Tennille from Captain and Tennille. Heidi, that's awesome. Chand met Jerry Seinfeld, Greg Brady, and Shaq. Wow, those are really cool. And I actually met Greg Brady too at Kent State University. Somebody played basketball with LeBron James. How fun is that? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Let's see, Liz donates blood every 56 days. Thank you. And Trina's a volunteer guardian for a 93-year-old man. Excellent. Oh my gosh, so awesome. Let's see. Okay. Someone met Michael Jordan, Debbie, and got a hug. And then Leanne met all 24 NBA coaches. Oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you for sharing, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about some wow moments. We already talked about, oh wait, get back here. We already talked about what George Bush did. He celebrated his 90th birthday by skydiving. So 90 years old, he jumped out of a plane. That's a big bucket list. So I turned 40. My birthday's January 1st. So I actually turned 40 at midnight when the ball dropped on Times Square. And I know a couple of you in the audience who also went on New Year's Eve. And the only reason I went is because my brother's a firefighter and he was able to get me to the ball safely without having to stand there for, 48 hours or whatever. But I was able, that was like my wow moment, is to watch the ball drop for my 40th birthday on Times Square. I will tell you just a little side note, it's probably better to watch it on TV. It's warmer and the ball looks way bigger than it actually is in real life. Then this presentation I created in May of 2016. And I actually put this question on it: will we live long enough to see a Cleveland sports championship? And I meant it. Is there ever going to be? And this was May of 2016. 1 month later, look what happened. So I leave this on there to never say never, because when I did this, I was serious. I'm like, are we ever going to see a championship? And exactly a month later. So even if you think it's something that you'll never do, never say never. We make it a point as an agency to make sure people, get their wishes met. And it's all about, what you want to do. Keep it on your list. Dream big. Let your family know. Let your friends know. We had a woman who had been to 48 states, and 2 of the states that she hadn't been to, I assumed it was Alaska and Hawaii. So I thought, but it wasn't. It was states within driving distance. So I said, on your birthday this year, have your family take you on a road trip. So don't ever say never, because you certainly, you never know what's going to happen. So the state of Ohio actually has their own bucket list. And this was featured in the Plain Dealer the month before I wrote this talk, which is probably what inspired me to do this talk, besides our patients seeing this in the paper. So the state of Ohio actually wants you to see these places. And ironically, every state has a similar list. So I want you to take a second. I want you to look at this list. And I'll let you if you want to screenshot it or take a picture of it. But the state of Ohio wants you to visit these places. So look down this list and see which ones you still need to get to. Some of them are still open right now. Some are closed. Actually, most are open right now. So, and again, it doesn't have to be this year, it doesn't have to be next year, but this is what the state of Ohio wants you to see. And I'm going to wrap up the talk today with showing you some things that other people want to do. Perhaps you want to do it. I just thought it was funny. I don't know. All right, Leanne, you put a thumbs up. Have you done extreme skiing in Wyoming? Okay, there's the thumb. It went down. It went away. How about this? Does anybody want to do skywalking in the Alps? How about this one? Ice climbing a frozen waterfall. Can you guys see my cursor, or do I just see my cursor? Okay, this is a little body. So I want to know what happens when the sun comes out and you're right there. I don't know. And then finally, extreme picnicking. I'll give you a second to digest this one. I think you have to drink a lot of this to be able to do this. I would never do this, but that's definitely a bucket list. If you want to do that, don't ask me to do it, Theo. It all comes down to doing what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, what makes your life feel complete. Again, we went through some things that you have to budget for, you have to take time for, but we also went through some things that are simple. If you want to see more things, again, bucketlist.com, bucketlist.org have 10,000 things that you're able to look at and add to your list. Live a life with no regrets. Life is short, start today. I think because of what we do, in hospice care, you know, we see all ages, we see all different things that pop up. We want you all to be able to say, I've lived a great life. I've done everything I've wanted. I've said everything I want to say. And hopefully this gave you some great ideas today to be able to get your list started and carry on. So it is 12:46. I know we have question and answer, but Yolanda, I'm wondering if we should hear from the audience some things that they have on their bucket list that maybe we haven't talked about today.